I think. Mike McMeekan 41 tackles, Matt Cook 130 metres, Greg Minikin with a try assist and 120 metres. And then for the losing Leeds Rhinos, there were some real good standout performances, particularly in those outside backs that were mentioned in some of the reviews. Ash Hanley, 2 tries, 1 try assist, 145 metres, is looking like a reasonable fix in there at the centre position, which
because he looked quite loose in the first 20 minutes and then really came into it.
Yep, and then you've got Callum Watkins, 2 tries, 8 tackle busts, 135 metres, 2 clean breaks. It's just a shame his it's Darryl Clark who's the top tackler. I apologise. So, but I know Paul McShane is up there. Oh, Paul McShane's up there in tackles per game, but he hasn't played as many games. Right. That's the one on that one. Ryan Hall with a try and 226 metres, so big shift from Ryan Hall. Brad Singleton, 45 tackles.
Ouch. So that's pretty much that on that one for me.
So obviously also on Friday night it was Warrington hosting Wakefield. It finished 34-24 to the home side in front of just over 9,000, and James Child was the referee in this one. Who did we get on the fan views, Tim?
Yeah, we had Wire Joe, who said we raced out of the traps and got a couple of scores ahead, and then it really dropped off and let Wakey back into it. The good win try just after the break was really important for us, and we ran out deserved winners in the end. Cracking try from Ben Murdoch-Masilla, and good to see the Flying Pig Lynham Bagger hat-trick. Bring on the smellies.
Mike Dodd, at Mike Dodd 22, said a few errors from both sides and good rugby on display at the HJ. Not as tight defensively as we have been so far this season, but Wakey look like a very solid side, and it's no surprise they're third in the table. Mike Cooper had another impressive game, culminating in an opportunistic try. BMM scored the kind of try we've been waiting to see. Hugely important to follow this win up with a win against Widnes.
We have to start calling him BMM Home Bargains. Wakey White said, good end to the game this one. Wire were just better at converting their periods of pressure into points. Paulie's first half duel with Murdoch-Masilla was good to watch, and there was plenty of expansive rugby from both sides. Wakey do look a bit brittle defensively at times, need to tighten up ahead of Cass.
And then Lee Whitnell said, I thought this was a really entertaining game from the two teams that were pretty evenly matched. Wire put in the best performance I've seen at the HJ since 2016. There were some good performances across the team with Lynham, Ratchford and Aquola, however you pronounce it. Almost certainly not the right spelling, he said. It's almost certainly not the right pronunciation either. Really catching the eye.
So did you catch any of this one?
I've seen the Murdoch-Masilla try. I didn't know he had that sort of pace in him. Normally his tries are barging over from 10 metres out or so, but this was a real 40 metre effort or so. I've noticed that Stefan Ratchford went off injured with a hamstring injury with a couple of minutes left in this one after tying up his hat-trick. So that might be a worry for Warrington. They've got winger depth now with Josh Charnley signed, but I thought his third try was pretty impressive as well. Again, him showing more pace than I was aware that he still had now, because he seems to be a bit of a plodding winger these days, especially with the way he dives over the line, kind of like a belly flop, but rather than like the graceful and acrobatic effort you saw from Tom Johnston on the other wing.
Yes.
In this one, but yeah, it did seem a bit back and forth. It was a bit. There was a lot of space, it looked like, on the highlights, and Stefan Ratchford probably took the most advantage of that space based on what I saw of the highlights. So Warrington deservedly, therefore, winning the game, I think. Yeah,
I saw the Murdoch-Masilla try was good work from him, and he did well to get. I thought Bryson Goodwin, from what I caught, he seemed to have another all-round performance, which is good. He's definitely becoming one of the standout players for that side so far.
Well, you say all-round performance, it looks like he took off goal-kicking duties after he missed a penalty from almost bang in front just before half-time, because Stefan Ratchford kicked the goal in the second half. But yeah, it looks like one of the best signings of the season, I would say, and certainly has improved that Warrington left centre position, no end, I would say.
So what did the stats tell us on this one?
Actually, some interesting geeky quirks in the stats this week. So this game had the joint most tries so far this year, and it also had the most missed goal attempts so far this year, as well as the highest overall average gain of 8 metres per carry. Both teams made 7 breaks and only 9 errors, with Warrington only scoring 1 more try, but 3 more goals. With less ball overall, Warrington made 128 more metres at 2.1 metres per carry better average gain. They went over 9 metres per carry in this one. They also had 4% better team tackle success, although at 92% they were below average despite being way better than Wakey in the tackle success. Interesting one as well, Warrington ran nearly twice as often from dummy half than Trinity did, but made less than half as many successful offloads. So stats, I suppose, suggest that the more conservative side won out in the end in this game. Individually, Tom Lynham, no shock features with his 3 tries. 5 tackle busts, 233 metres, 3 clean breaks. Bryson Goodwin, who you did well to mention, 1 try, 5 tackle busts, 152 metres. Stephen Ratchford, 3 try assists and 104 metres. Darryl Clark with a booming all-round performance, 1 try assist, 42 tackles, 10 of which were marker tackles, 5 tackle busts and 106 metres, which came at almost 10 metres a carry. There were some good performers, particularly in the outside backs. We're going to go across the whole 3-quarter line here for the Wakefield Trinity, and it was Reese Lynn with a try assist, 5 tackle busts, 136 metres. Ben Jones-Bishop with a try and 111 metres. A player who's impressing me constantly when I see him play this season, Bill Tupu, with a try, 172 metres, 3 clean breaks and 4 successful offloads. Then Tom Johnston, who's one of Super League's best break makers so far, and he had a try, 5 tackle busts, 140, and added 2 to his clean break total for the season so far.
Another try for his highlight reel as well.
Yeah, well, he likes to go. He's basically practicing his cartwheels, isn't he? For like at the end of term when you'd be allowed on the grass at school because it wasn't raining anymore, and you could do cartwheels and stuff. That's what is.
Do you think he's got one of those foam pits in his backyard with all the blocks of foam that you dive
to
into?
Practice it.
I nearly got stuck in one of those once. So we did a work forced fun evening to play dodgeball on trampolines, and then afterwards we were waiting for, I can't remember what we were waiting for, but they had one of these foam pits, and I jumped in, and not realising that you needed to be pretty strong in your upper body strength to actually be able to get out the thing. So it then took a bit of a mammoth effort, sort of like a whale being hauled over the side of a ship, to actually get me out of it.
Do you think that they still talk about you at the pit? It's like a safety advice to like parties that go in.
There's probably the CCTV footage for whatever you do. Think about it before you jump.
On the sort of induction videos that they give everyone as health and safety training.
Yeah, beware this may cause instant death video.
Right, okay, so also on Friday night, a bit of a convincing one, this one for Hull FC, coming out 42-16 winners over bottom of the table Catalan Dragons in front of 10,347, and our old friend Jack Smith was the man with the Super League whistle on this one, with everyone playing on the same night. He got a gig in Super League. Do you want to start us off? Good to see.
Yeah, it's Alan Walker with Boycott España-Istan.
I don't know what that means, but it doesn't sound good. It's because of the Catalan independence movement. I would
right.
Malcar Matias says Kit Karma, more grey, Coach Karma, grey coach, leave the cunt in Hull.
Yep. Sarah said much better performance than last week. Yes, we are playing the frankly terrible Catalans. That should be their strapline, shouldn't it? But we showed some enthusiasm, which has been missing recently. Griffin has yet another good game and could have scored 5. Carlos was outstanding and controlled everything. Taylor looked back to his best. Well, it was good to see Kelly back. Had to ask why we didn't bomb Gigo more often, as both times we did, he ran away from it, just like a drug tester.
Joshua's granddad said, a game when the important thing was a response, truly deliver with excellent play from Carlos, my man of the match, and Josh, the man who some still don't like, Griff, left us with a smile on the face. In honesty, it could have been 60 plus. Tony Gigo giving a Nathan Graham-esque display at fullback, one for us oldies.
And rounding out the feedback, Joshua said that I think we played pretty well. I didn't have much faith in Hull FC. I thought it would be pretty even, but thought we would win. We ended up smashing them 42-16. So one of the things I picked up on watching the highlights of this one was Carlos Tumavave, and the way, especially in attack, where he drifted around the line, which really caused problems for the Catalan defence.
Well, he was up against a not a real centre in David Mead, who got moved there so Gigo could play at fullback, which looks like it maybe helped Catalan's attack a bit, because they scored 3 tries and they don't do that regularly anymore. But yeah, Tumavave was a big threat up against him, because it gave him, he just didn't know where to read where he was going to go, didn't he? And he can step off both feet and offload off from both hands.
Yeah, and it just allowed the runners to come off him as well, which was because he sort of bought that time, so all the defenders were honing in, which just then bought that extra bit of space, a bit like Ben Barber does. He just creates the space by drawing people left and right because they're fixated on him.
Yeah,
it just creates that space in the same sort of similar vein.
And having Albert Kelly back in probably helped. That as well. With Josh Griffin got a lot of plaudits and did do quite well by the looks of things and scored some decent tries. Scott Taylor though jumps off all the match reviews I've read and the bits I've seen as a dominant force again in this game, and he's hugely important to Hull FC. I would suggest Scotty Taylor, and he's captain for this one.
I was going to say, with being captain, I think with Yeme out, as he's done really well, and he's lifted his performance to match that. He sort of realised that he's got to take on the mantle of not so much the hard work, but more, because he's always done that, but more the sort of inspiring and geeing everybody up, and I think he's led from the front.
Yeah, definitely. He's an exceptional player, certainly, in that black and white jersey. He gives everything he's got. Okay, don't have anything else to say on this one other than run through the stats, which there's not much. Go on, sorry.
I suppose the other point is this yet another one that moves Steve McNamara a step closer towards the Butchers?
Oh yeah, why aren't we talking about that? Actually, we should probably stick the knife in and get him ready, get him all seasoned up for that slaughterhouse visit. But yeah, it's not a good look. I think Hull have probably been underperforming a little bit rather than being a bad side this year. They're certainly a top half side, so I think it was bad luck on Catalan that they ran into them on the first dry and not freezing cold game of the season for Hull FC. I think that's, well, it was warm for them in Australia too, but they didn't cope too well that night. But I don't think that was good for a Catalan side. A Catalan side who has the worst tackling pair of players in the league in their two halfbacks in this game. Sami Soni Lange and Lucas Albert top the league for missed tackles per game. So and that's followed on from last season when Myler and Walsh did the exact same thing. So obviously there's areas you can get at there. And with Tumavave and Griffin, boy did Hull FC get around those areas. I think some of the team selection for Catalan, I don't know what you think, but I think there was a much more balanced look to it. I'd still like to see Gigo at 6 and maybe Lange in the centre and
keeping Mead at fullback, I think is his best position for them.
But Gigo has to get his hands on the ball as much as possible too, because he is obviously one of the more inspirational players that they've got in that side, I would think. But a better balance to the squad, I would say.
Because McAlorum, one thing we didn't talk about, McAlorum pulled out of this during the warm-up, which meant Ayton came in to start. So I wonder if potentially could you even put Gigo at 9?
You don't want him coming out at 9 though. I don't think he's got. Nah, it's too long for 9. I think, and he's kind of loping in his style. I think by the time he gets the ball picked up, he's going to have defenders on him. I don't think that's not for me. But McAlorum having a back injury and not getting ready for the game and stuff, that's a worry, because he's not been very fit this year. He's not looked up for it. Kind of a bit disappointed in him if I was a Catalan fan.
Yeah, and I think he's someone that you would hope from his sort of previous performance and previous reputation, you would be able to build build your side round.
Exactly.
As being your steady away, week in, week out hooker.
Yeah, so anyway, stats then. Other than one extra error, Hull FC were all over the Catalans on the key stats. 167 more metres, with an impressive 9-5 win on clean breaks and 7-3 in tries, and a 4.5% better team tackle success. Individually,